Welcome to Marriage Helper Live. I am Dr. Joe Beam. We're broadcasting from Spring Hill, Tennessee. Actually, Spring Hill is a suburb just south of Nashville, Tennessee. Beautiful part of the country. Typically, I'm joined on this program by Kimberly Holmes, who is my daughter, but also the CEO of our organization, Marriage Helper. Kimberly is out of the country right now with her family. That's a tradition for them. Every Thanksgiving, they leave and go someplace. So they're in another country right now. Kimberly and her husband, Rob, actually adopted two beautiful children from India a few years ago. They've been here quite a few years now, a daughter who is 11 and a son who is 8. And they've been here in the USA so long that they are totally American. American accents, American ways of doing things, thinking, playing, all kinds of things. We're welcoming you to this program, which is a program where we talk to each other. Actually, you can give us a call at 615-912-2998. That's 615-912-2998 to ask any questions you wish about relationships. Now, we are a marriage program, and we will talk about that. And many of the people who call us will talk to us about various problems that they're having in their marriage. And if that's what you have, that's fine and well. We'll talk about those things if you wish. At the same time, since it is a relationship program, it may be that you're not married, or it may be that your marriage situation has a question that's not a crisis, but something that you want to deal with. By the way, we're broadcasting this the day before Thanksgiving in the year 2025. Okay, am I ready to go to the first call here? I'm asking our producer, Jason, there, and we'll first go to Heather from Florida. Hi, Heather. You're on the air. How may we help you?
Hello, Dr. Beam. Thank you so much for taking my call. My husband and I have a contempt support hearing coming up in a couple of weeks, and he's becoming more anxious and aggressive verbally and pulling away.
Mm-hmm. Now, tell me again, the hearing is specifically for what?
Contempt of support.
Financial support?
Yes,
okay.
Child and spousal support.
Oh, and child support. Okay, that's what I was not getting. All right, thank you, Heather. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure I understood what you were saying. Go ahead, please.
That's okay. Thank you so much. And so he's pulling away more, where he used to stay at least one night a week, and we'd be intimate sporadically. He's now not staying at all. He says he's not with the affair partner, but I know that he is, and they have a child who is 2, and our son is 9.
Okay.
But he's pulling away, and I don't know what I can do at this time to try and maintain the relationship, because he's not even eating the food that I make. He's not doing anything
when you
positive.
say not
he's just angry.
eating the food that you make, but he's not living with you, correct?
Right, but typically he would have dinner with us at least 1 or 2 nights a week, and he would stay over at least 1 night a week.
Okay, is he living with the other woman?
He says that he's not, but I believe that he is spending nights there, even though it's not a formal living arrangement. She lives with her parents, and I believe he's staying in a camper on the property.
Oh, okay. And you believe he's staying there because he's still involved with her, or because of his child?
Very much so. Very much so involved, yes.
Okay. And so this custody that's coming up, he's becoming antsy about it. Is it because he's anticipating that I'm assuming you have an attorney, is that correct?
Yes, I have an attorney. Not a custody hearing, just the child support and spousal support contempt hearing.
I am so deaf. I'm not hearing very well today. I apologize, Heather. All right. And so in this event you're talking about, is he anticipating that he's going to have to come up with more money than he has?
That, and that he may go to jail.
Oh, because he's not been paying.
Correct.
Okay. Now, tell me more about when he would come over on Fridays and spend the night. Tell me about that, please.
So he would come over after work, and we would have dinner together. Sometimes we would play games or watch something on TV, not really, close and intimate. But then at night, the intimacy is pretty much by me. I'm a pursuer. And, when we go to sleep, I would cuddle up close. And then in the morning, most of the time we would end up being intimate, or before he left for the day.
Okay, and you were a willing participant in that.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right. So what specifically is the question again?
How can I maintain my pulls toward him when he's in such a heightened risk in a heightened state in everything that I do? He shuts it down. He shuts it down because he's just showing me that he's so angry that it's my fault. It's my fault he has to go to court. It's my fault he has to pay child support. My fault he's married. All of this.
Okay, and so that kind of anger and those kinds of attacks on you have gone on for how long?
On and off the whole time since he walked out.
Which has been?
39 months.
Okay. So may I ask, if he's that critical of you, why do you sleep with him? Why do you have intimacy with him?
Well, when we're intimate, he's not.
Right, but he is the rest of the time, correct?
More so as it gets closer to this date.
Okay, so that last part one more time.
More so as it gets closer to this date, or anytime there's any kind of pressure on him to take any kind of responsibility.
Okay. And so what do you want to happen?
Well, of course, I want my husband to give up his affair partner and, come home and,
Okay. Will you have any say-so with the judge as to whether or not your husband goes to jail?
Well, so in February, she gave him mercy. She did put a writ for him, but gave him a very small purge payment because she said, your wife does not want you to go to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And he immediately came up with a purge payment, and he didn't go to jail. But since then, he has not done what the court has told him to do
so it won't be
at
up
all.
to
And
you.
he admitted to me he didn't. I apologize.
It won't be up to you. It'll be up to the judge completely. Is that correct?
Generally, yes.
Okay. And you're talking about how to increase pulls. Now, you know that pulls are those things that evoke positive emotions in the other person. The very fact that you're letting him come to your house, have dinner, play games, and the fact that you're sleeping with him, those sound like pretty big pulls. And so are you anticipating that there are other pulls you can do? Is that what you're asking about?
Well, yes, because now as we get closer to the court date, he's not eating the food. He's, if I made something to eat, he's like, I gotta go, or he makes a reason to get angry.
Okay. And so he's not spending the night with you on Friday nights anymore?
No. The last 2 weeks, he has not.
Okay, and what's he going to do tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day?
We were supposed to go to my in-laws for Thanksgiving dinner. He agreed over a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
He did hint that he wasn't going to go, but they just canceled. So I'm making dinner, and I haven't told him yet, but I'll tell him tonight that, I'll have dinner ready by 5 or 6, whatever time he gets there from work.
If he chooses to come. Well, Heather, I can't
Right.
think of anything otherwise that you would be doing. Now, you know that if the judge is tough on him, he's going to see that as a push. But it's not really a push coming from you, it's a push coming from the judge. And if indeed he sees it as a push coming from you, if I were you, I wouldn't worry about that. You have to have the child support, you have to have the money, that kind of thing. And it's not something you're doing out of vengeance, it's not something you're doing to hurt him, it's something you're doing that we call an essential push, or sometimes referred to it as a necessary push, because these are things that need to happen. And the fact that he has not been paying the money as he should have, well, obviously there are consequences to that, and the judge will pretty much decide what that's going to be. So I don't know what else you think that would be a push. I'm sorry, I don't know what else you think would be a pull. Is there something in your mind?
I just really don't know. I've been doing everything that I can to show him that he's liked, loved, and respected, that I accept where he's at, but that I don't agree.
Right.
With what he's doing. And
right. Unless you find some way to make him come over, which would not be good. You don't want to make anybody do anything. But unless you find some way to get him to come over more often so you can do more things, I don't know what other push you could do. I'm sorry, I'm getting my terminology all mixed up today. I don't know what else that you could do that is a pull. Now, if you're thinking, well, maybe I'll just say, let him forget the money, I'll do without it, I would not recommend you do that, because that's money you need for you and your children. And So I can't think of anything else you need to do. There is no magic phrase, there's no magic bullet here. It seems to me that you've gone above board. You've gone far beyond what you need to do because of the fact that you still will feed him if he will eat. You still will let him sleep in your bed. You still will make love to him. I don't know what other pull you can do besides that in the situation that you're describing. Now, it may be that some of our callers want to call in and tell us something they recommend that you can do, but in the situation you're describing, I think that you're doing as much as you possibly can, unless you have something specific in mind that you're wanting to ask about.
No, nothing specific.
Okay. Well, I wish I had an answer for you there. Based on what happens when he goes to court, do you think he's still going to be coming over and wanting to sleep in your bed?
No, though he said that before, and then he did, but she's his safe spot right now because
Mm-hmm.
she agreed to just $150 a month in child support for their baby. That's 2 now, and I'm the monster that
Yeah.
is
But didn't you say
entitled
she
to
lives with her
support.
family? I mean, she's got a support
Yes,
system that she needs already.
exactly.
Okay.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
if one thing I would ask you to just consider whether or not you really want to be sleeping with him if he's still involved with her. Think about it. If you want to, it's your right. You're still, you have that right to do that if you wish. But think about what message that is giving him and think about how that might be affecting his behavior if indeed you're being that kind to him. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying I would recommend that you think that through.
Right. And the last couple of weeks, I have not been, pursuing him because I've noticed that he's pulling away like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be overly pushy
Mm-hmm.
because he has tried to say, "Oh, you use me for sex," which I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Okay.
So even that,
Yeah.
he's making into an alleged push on your part. You're using that.
Right.
Heather, I would really think through carefully about feeding him, sleeping with him, all those kinds of things. If he's coming around to spend time with the children, that's good. The children need that. But I would hope that you would think, what am I accomplishing with these other things? Now, you can be a kind human being. You can feed whoever you want to, and obviously you're an adult. You can sleep with whoever you want to, but I'm not sure that's working to your advantage in this situation. Are you?
No, I don't think it is either.
Okay. Well, have a great holiday tomorrow. I hope you enjoy and
Thank you.
stand up for what you need, my friend. That's a push that you need to do. Okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you all so much. You have a
Okay.
happy Thanksgiving holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Jason, I think that maybe I should have had a cup of coffee. My mind is just lagging today. I'm not hearing very well. I'm not dealing. Look, folks, pray for me. Our telephone number is 615-912-2998. That's 615-912-2998. We'd love to have you call and talk to us, and I promise I'm getting more awake. Maybe I'm just concentrating too much on how much my wife's going to cook for tomorrow, which will be amazing and wonderful. But I'm going to focus back on these calls right now. And we actually have a caller from last week that's calling back. We don't typically take that, but I'm interested in this. Sheila from Chicago, you're with us. How may we help you today?
Hello, good morning, Dr. Bain and Kimberly. This is Sheila. So I have a history. I will give you a little bit of background. My husband has filed for divorce and mediation is coming up. And I'm honestly looking, at myself, understanding what went wrong. Although he hasn't opened up for the core issues, but what I think, there is a long history of control.
Mm-hmm.
He is very
Controlling your
controlling.
side or his side?
His side, not
Okay.
me. I'm not at all controlling.
Okay.
I'm more like compassionate side.
Okay.
But even though many times with the amount of control, I have tried to take stand on for myself, and unfortunately, my reactions often came out as emotional outbursts and yelling at times, especially in the last few years. Um, I understand these moments may have pushed him away, like certain characteristics of people. If they cannot control, they don't want to stay with you.
So how may I help you today?
That's
What
what
can I
I
do for you?
felt. So my question, Dr. Beam, is that I want your guidance. How can I ask him gently to participate in the workshop without making him feel pressured? And do you think if there is a possibility that my marriage can be saved?
We believe
I
that it's
mean, every
always
time
possible.
I try to ask, yep.
Have
I
you?
know, but
Do you have our little kit that we have made, videos and a PDF that you can fill out that guides you through the process of how to ask your husband to come? Do you have that?
and not the kid, no. But I've seen some of the videos, and so he is very smart and intelligent. Like I was more like trying to get in this situation, like your guidance, your take on certain words that I can use
Okay.
that might
Well, let me
help him.
recommend that you call here and talk to one of our advisors, and he or she can help you understand how to get your hands on that kit. They'll probably just send it to you, email it to you. But what it is, it's a series of videos that also come with some PDFs that I strongly recommend that you download, because it'll take you through a series of questions and get you to write the answers to those questions. Now, if you decide to use that kit, and it's all about how to ask your spouse to come to the workshop with you. If you decide to use that kit, please follow the instructions. In other words, don't just listen to the video or watch the video and think, okay, I got it. When it comes to that PDF, when it asks a question, you actually need to think and write down the answer. There's a thing about human beings we can talk without thinking, believe it or not, but we can't write without thinking. And so when it'll say, write answers to this, write answers to this question, write answer to this question, we suggest that you really do that. Be careful, stop, spend time, think it through very carefully, and actually write the answers. Now, it'll take you through a few pages of doing that. And again, there are videos describing how and how to answer these questions, that kind of thing. But when you finally get to the end of it, you'll actually have it written out, the exact right wording that you, because it'll be your words, the exact right wording that you can use to ask your husband to come. And as you do that, then you don't go read it to him. You actually kind of memorize it. You don't have to memorize it word for word, but you want to have everything in it in your head, because that request will not just be a way of asking him to come, but also will have prepared you for any objections that he might give. If he objects because of this reason, that reason, or the other, you will have already thought all that through so that you will have an answer for it. And you also will have thought through how it would benefit him to come, so that when you ask, it's not just, would you do this for me? But when you ask, you can say, here are some things that you actually will benefit from if we do that. Because people do things for their reasons, not the reasons of the other people. And so we worked hard on this thing. It's very well thought out. It's well done. I guess that sounds kind of egotistical since I did the videos. But if you get your hands on that, and you can get it by contacting us here at marriagehelper.com. As a matter of fact, you can probably send this to Jason. What would be the right email if they just want this particular kit? Would it be info or VIP?
We're actually going to reach out to her directly to make sure that she gets it.
Okay, so you're going to send it to her. What about the other people here that want it?
They can call our main number or go to marriagehelper.com, scroll down to the very bottom, and find our main phone line there, and they can call in, and we can make sure that they get it there.
Okay, because it's a free kit. We'd be happy to give it to you. Now, Jason, I want to move on to this other thing right here. I see something where somebody has written, that's a very good question. I hope someone answers your question. I'm curious now, but I don't see the question. Can you scroll back and maybe find the question that they're referring to from FEM SHW7344? Can find their question so we can answer that. Okay. Are there actions by the unfaithful that are so vile and hurtful that the betrayed can reasonably never forgive or get over the level of hurt? That's actually an excellent question. You see, when we talk about forgiveness and teach people how to forgive, we don't talk about forgiving the other person for their sake. We talk about you forgiving them for your sake. Now, can things have consequences that might plague you for years? I mean, if somebody gives you an STD, for example, and it's one of those that they can't cure, then you're going to have it, for many years to come. And so there are consequences sometimes that last. Or if somebody bankrupts you and now you have to start all over in life financially, that's something that'll take you a while to get over. And so I'm not saying that forgiving solves all the hurt instantly. I'm saying that when you forgive, and we talk about this at length in our workshop, that when you forgive the other person first by going back and thinking through, what did they do? And then asking yourself several questions like, have I allowed myself to be angry about it? Because actually you should. And then asking questions like, have I allowed myself to hurt over this if indeed it hurt me? And there are several more questions like that we use in the workshop. And then to every one of those that you say no, we say, okay, then let's go back and work on those. Go back and deal with your anger. So I'll give you an example. We had a lady who worked hard to save her marriage and finally convinced her husband to come to the workshop with her, and he did. This is not important to the story, but I just happen to remember they were from the Panhandle of Florida. So they came to the workshop. He came reluctantly. He didn't want to be there. And at the beginning of the workshop, he was pretty hard to deal with. I mean, he was disruptive and things like that. But he, as happens almost every single time, the people that don't want to be in the workshop begin to see that we're going to treat them with absolute respect, that we're not going to do anything to make them feel guilty, that we're going to teach good, valid, solid relationship principles that have been proven not just in the lives of people we know, but proven through good social science or psychological research. And so the workshop actually worked for this guy. It worked very well. And so when they went back home down to the Panhandle of Florida, he asked his wife if he could move back in. Now, he had been living with his affair partner, but he asked his wife, may I move back in? And she said yes. 2 weeks after he moved in, she threw him out. Now, she's talking to me on the phone about that later, and I said, why? I mean, you got everything that you worked for. You were starting through the reconciliation process. You were starting to do all the things that you needed to do to make this marriage work, that you had fought so hard to get to this point, and then you threw them out. Why? She said, because I got mad. I said, what do you mean? Well, it turned out that she had never, ever accepted the fact that she was angry about all those things. Never let herself feel the anger, feel the pain, the frustration, all those kinds of things. She had bottled them up because she was afraid if she allowed herself to feel what was naturally there, then she would do the wrong things. Now, it's a reasonable fear. Sometimes people who are angry wind up doing exactly the wrong things, but by boycotting your own emotions, by not dealing with the pain that you actually feel, it doesn't mean it just evaporates. It doesn't just dissipate and go away. It's still in there. And until such time as you bring it up to the surface, look at it, and deal with it, then it's just continuing to seethe, to boil under the surface. And so 2 weeks after he comes home, she gets angry and throws him out, which just voided all the work she had done for over a year to try to put her marriage back together. So we're saying there's a process of dealing with your pain, your frustrations, your hurt, all those kinds of things. We're not saying ignore that and that forgiving just makes all that go away. Forgiving is when you decide to see the other person as a flawed human rather than seeing them as being some kind of devil incarnate, some kind of evil being. And once you decide that, because you see, as long as you view the other person as being wicked and bad and all those kinds of things, then you can justify anything you do to them. And sometimes people do some pretty vile things themselves to punish the other person. I remember, many years ago, in one of our workshops where a lady actually got up and told the whole group at the workshop that she had had a vengeance affair because she was so mad at her husband and she had done that just to hurt him. Now, as she's telling us about this vengeance affair, she's sobbing. She's breaking down and saying so much over and over again, I am so sorry, so sorry. Because by trying to punish him, she had hurt herself. She had done damage to her own beliefs and values, to her own self-esteem and ego, those kinds of things. And so we say, okay, if you see the other person as a flawed human, rather than seeing them as some kind of evil being, then you can't justify doing terrible things to them, because a flawed human is what we all are. Me, you, everybody else. So you make a decision that you will view the other person as a flawed human, not as someone who is totally evil. Then the second decision you make is that you will not take vengeance. And the story I just told you about the lady in the workshop who was sobbing about her pain for having the vengeance affair. That was her way of taking vengeance. And vengeance does something to you. Now, it's okay to get justice. So if you steal my car and I tell the police you stole my car and they put you in jail, that's justice. It's not me seeking vengeance, because vengeance is when I try to hurt you, and I'm hoping to hurt you at least as badly as you have hurt me. Now, so when you come to that, it's like, so that's why vengeance is so bad? Yeah. What's the old saying? It's like you drinking poison, hoping the other person will die. And so we say you decide to see them as a flawed human being. Then you decide that you're not going to take vengeance. Now, that's what forgiveness is. And for you people who are religious people, that actually even fits the biblical criteria. Now, so the real question you're asking here is not, are there people who have done things so vile that you can't forgive them? Yes, you can forgive them. But the question you're really asking is this: are there people who have done things so vile that you can't reconcile with them? Because you must understand that reconciliation is a choice that's not necessarily part of forgiveness. Now, you may be thinking, wait a minute, Dr. Beam, you guys are always trying to help people put their marriages back together, to reconcile, those kinds of things. That's correct. That's one of the things we do. But there are some situations where that is not biblically wise, and it's not mentally wise, not emotionally wise. It's just not wise at all. So, for example, I remember several years ago, I was speaking out on the West Coast near Seattle, and a lady walked up to me after my speech, and she had 3 girls with her, her daughters. I can't remember the ages exactly. I think maybe the oldest one was 13, 14, something like that. And then they stair-stepped down from there. And they wanted to tell me that their dad, her husband, had sexually molested these girls. And that he finally realized he couldn't control that evil drive within himself. And so he went to the police and turned himself in, told them what he was doing. They arrested him. Of course, he pled guilty. They convicted him. And at the time these women were talking to me, this guy was still in prison. And what they were telling me is, we still love him. The wife and the 3 daughters said that. We still love him. As a matter of fact, one thing we admire about our dad is the fact that he protected us from the predator. It just so happened he was the predator. But he was the one who protected us by turning himself in and going to jail. Now, if he were to get out of prison while we're still living at home with our mom, he can't come there. He can't come home. And Mom was deciding, well, even if they're grown when he gets out, if he wants to come back and put the marriage together, I'm not sure if I'll do that or not. We have forgiven him. We have seen him as a flawed human, not some evil being. We have decided not to take any vengeance. We're happy that justice has taken place, that he's put himself in the prison where he can't hurt the girls anymore. But we don't know that reconciliation would be a wise thing here. And so I think that's really the question. Can it be that somebody can be so vile, they've done something so bad, so painful, so hurtful, that even if we forgive them, which is for you, by the way, and it's good for you to do because it sets you free emotionally, it sets you free when you forgive. There are some things that are so vile, so hurtful, so bad that we would not recommend reconciliation. because the reconciliation would put you or perhaps your children in danger. And we would say, or the thing they did was so vile, so outside of your ability to even understand how could somebody do that, that you could just think to yourself, I don't think I could ever trust him or trust her again. And so while we try to help as many couples as possible reconcile, and we actually have a process we help them go through. It's a 5-step process that helps them to actually reconcile, not just move back in together, not just say, I forgive you, let's move on, but actually a process they go through that everybody needs to go through if they're going to reconcile. But some couples don't need to reconcile. Some parents and children don't need to reconcile. Forgive? Yes. Still love them? Sure. But not necessarily reconciliation. Well, I don't know if I hurt you by that answer. I don't know if I even answered the question you were actually asking, but I think that's the question you asked. And if so, yes, always forgive. It sets you free. Reconcile? Think that through carefully. Is it safe? Physically, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, for everybody who would be involved in that reconciliation. Okay, here we're going to go to another call. We're going to talk to Kristen, I should say, from Arkansas. Hi, Kristen. Kristen, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I can hear you now. How may we help you?
I'm just trying to. My question is, how can I stand in the gap for my marriage, and have boundaries while I'm waiting on my husband to choose me or the affair partner?
Mm-hmm.
He's already moved out, and he is seeing the affair partner. He keeps telling me that he loves me and he misses me and he does see a future with me. He's just trying to find himself at the moment.
And in these conversations where he tells you that he loves you and misses you, where do these conversations take place?
Through text message, or he'll call me, or he'll come over and see me. He called me today on his way to his family's for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when he comes to see you, tell me about how those conversations go.
Normally, he comes in, he acts like we're still best friends. He gives me a hug.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of try to talk about our kids. We have a 16 and a 13-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
It's always, I think about you a lot. I miss you. I miss my family.
Is there any hugging, kissing, anything like that going on?
Yes.
Is there any...
He will kiss me goodbye, and he'll hug me goodbye.
Okay, so there's no lovemaking that occurs?
There's been once a couple weeks ago.
Who initiated that?
He initiated that, yes, but I had to set a boundary because I feel like he's just pulling me along, and I want to be able to stand for my marriage, but I also don't want to be blindsided if he chooses her, if that makes sense.
Good for you. You sound like a very strong person, are you?
I'm trying to be. He left me with a business, a full-time job, and 2 kids and walked away with nothing. So I have to be for my 2 children.
Okay, and are you handling all those things, the business, all those things well?
The best that I can. Yes.
Okay. Like I said, you sound to me like a very strong person. Yeah, the thing that you're calling boundaries, we stopped using that word a long time ago, and if you want to use it, that's fine. I'm not saying don't. But we stopped using that word because so often people would talk about boundaries when really what they talked about was control. We call them stops. No, I don't think that's what you're calling it, control. We call them stops, safeguards that offer protection. In other words, you're not going to set this boundary, if you'd prefer to use that word, you're not going to set this boundary because of the fact that you're trying to control, you're trying to hurt, you're trying to manipulate, you're trying to get vengeance, whatever it might be. You're setting this boundary, this stop as we would call it, because of the fact that somebody needs protecting. And so in the example you just gave, okay, a couple of weeks ago, he initiated, I made love with him, but then I thought, I'm not going to do that anymore. We would call that a stop. And the safeguard that offers protection is actually protecting you. It's protecting you emotionally. You said in case he chooses her. I think that's very wise. And the safeguard is, I'm not going to make love to you until this is all worked out the way it's supposed to be worked out. So that's a good stop. Now, the consequences, you don't need to put a consequence with that because he can't make love to you without your involvement unless he were to do something evil. And so you don't have to put any consequences on a stop like that. Sometimes stops you do. It'll be like, if I see you driving with the kids in the car and you've been drinking, then here's a negative consequence that's going to occur. We actually have a toolkit that we call a definitive guide to boundaries that explains all about how to do these things. Now, doing these things, Kristen, are actually wise. They may sound like pushes in the sense of, well, that's going to evoke a negative emotion in the other person. It's going to push him further away. I shouldn't do this. But when you set a stop, it's actually a pull, because while it may initially evoke a negative emotion in the other person, it eventually evokes positive emotions in the other person because they respect you. Wow. Kristen stood up for herself. She stands up for what she believes. She's doing what she needs to do, which is, I'm reading the thing up here when you talk to our call screeners, you said you don't want to be a doormat. Being a doormat is the worst thing you can do. If the other person thinks they can just run over you, do whatever they want to do, and you'll allow it, they lose respect for you, which is a major push. It pushes them further away from you. Now, the situation that you're describing is what we call the valley. Meaning he has emotions for her, he had a woman, but he also has emotions for you. And so she, if you'll let me use this analogy, she is one hill on one side of the valley, and you're the other hill on the other side of the valley, and he's in between. Now, if he gravitates toward her, which apparently he's still doing because he's still involved with her, that's painful. But he's also gravitating toward you. Now, that tells us that he's vacillating. He's going back and forth between the two of you. Now, you don't have to tolerate that if you don't want to. You can tell him, you can't have anything to do with me. You can't even come over. You can't text me. You can't call me. You can't do anything as long as you're involved with her. But that's not what we would recommend. Now, you can do it. It's your choice. We'd say if the other person is in the valley, sometimes it makes a lot of sense and has wisdom to tolerate that for a little while, as long as he continues to make movements toward you emotionally. I miss you. I want to be with you. Because having been in limerence, that's a word we use for that madly in love stuff, many, many years ago now, and leaving my wife for another woman and all kinds of things, I understand where he is. And the vacillation that goes on there is there's a part of me that wants her, and it's a very strong drive because the limerence is. But I want my wife because I love her. I think highly of her. I want to be with her. And so he really is torn. He's torn strongly emotionally. Now, people can't live like that. Now, there are some people who live like that for a long time, but they're rare. People generally can't live like that. He's either going to finally gravitate toward her, almost exclusively, and then finally exclusively, or he's going to gravitate toward you, almost exclusively, and then finally exclusively. And so our recommendation, your choice, you decide what's best for you. But our recommendation is if he's moving toward you emotionally, maybe you put up with that for a little while. But you still put those boundaries like, nope, not going to make love to me. Not going to come and sit here at my house and spend time with the kids and text her while you're here. You can't do these things. And we say, yeah, that's wise. Even if he sees them initially as pushes, those are ultimately pulls because they show your strength. And so we say, yeah, okay, what you're describing, 3/4 of the people watching this program right now are hoping their spouse would be in the valley, because their spouse is so much involved with the other person that they feel, I don't know if I have any hope at all. And they would give anything if their spouse would move into the valley. Now, I know it's still painful for you. I know it's tough. But I'm saying you've got a pretty good shot at this right now. Kristen, he has a good shot of coming home. So what do? You put the boundaries up. don't let him run over you. Don't be the doormat. There's certain things you just don't tolerate. Now, you do it gently, you do it kindly, but you do it with strength. In other words, don't argue about them. Well, what if? No, these are the boundaries. This is how it's going to be. And as he moves closer to you, you can actually set more boundaries. So, for example, when he gets really spending a lot more time with you, being very open with you, telling you about his emotions, what he feels, what he thinks, what he dreams about, what he wants, the closer he comes to you, the more boundaries you can set about her. But don't set those right now because he's still in the valley. Kristen, have I answered your question, or have I rambled so far I've totally lost your interest?
No, you've completely answered my question, and I've been watching your shows and YouTube and working on getting the toolkit right now and possibly doing a solo.
Good.
So yes, all that makes sense. I just want to make sure what I am doing is right, because
yes,
I am still very much in love with this man after 21 years, and I still want this to work, and I do know that he is lost in limerence. I just want to make sure that what I'm doing is right.
Yes, I affirm what you're doing is absolutely right. By the way, is he a religious man?
So a little quick story, he left me after meeting this woman for 3 weeks, and 3 weeks later he came home. And then 5 weeks later, he left and went back to this woman. And now he keeps saying it's him, it's not me, that he's having to work on himself to be the man that he needs me to be.
Yeah.
And so I'm a very religious woman.
Good. Here's what I recommend.
He says he's working on that, he said.
Okay. Here's what I recommend you.
He said that he doesn't. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I'm interrupting you. I'm sorry. I would recommend this. Pray that God messes up that other relationship, that he sends somebody into it or some situation into it that just messes it up. And another part of thing, and leave it up to God. You don't do that. Let God do it. And the second part of that prayer would be, Lord, put somebody in my husband's life that can help him see the light, the right thing he should do for the sake of his family, his children, me, etc. Because I pray for that a lot. God, put the right person into that other person's life so that person can do something right now that I can't do to help him or her in some situations see the light about what's the best thing to do. So I recommend you try those two prayers, okay?
I sure will.
All
and
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. What part of Arkansas are you in, my friend?
I own cabins in the RV park in Mountain View, Arkansas. I'm not sure if you know where that's at, the north.
Yeah, I spoke in Searcy, Arkansas, which is not in the Northeast. Just a couple of 3 weeks ago, I was speaking at Harding University in Searcy. So you take care of yourself, Kristen. Thank you for the call. Okay? All right. So let's go. Okay. My producer's giving me signs. Time for the testimonials? This past weekend, we had an in-person couples workshop right here in Spring Hill, Tennessee, just south of Nashville. And some of the couples in the workshop at the end decided that they would like to go on camera to be able to tell people about the workshop. So we have 2 or 3 of those now, and let's see what they have to say.
My name is Taylor Atkins. I found Marriage Helper through a family friend. The workshop really helped me understand myself. At first, when I came to the workshop, I was like, okay, this is going to help me understand, the marriage and everything. And it absolutely did. But the main thing it helped me understand is me. And that's the only person that you can change. That's the only person that you can really, really have a big change in your life, because you can't change others. And this workshop really shows you that.
My name is Amanda, and I found Marriage Helper online when I was searching for answers to how to save my marriage. The workshop gave me personal insight to a variety of tools and toolkits that I plan to leave with and try to apply. And these are tools and techniques that I never received in any marriage therapy or counseling over the years, and it's a totally different approach.
I'm Doug, and just the whole deal was to get a better chance on helping our marriage become stronger. That's the whole reason we came to Marriage Helper. It gave my wife and myself tools on how to be able to communicate better, understand our communication styles and our personality styles so that we can more effectively handle difficulties and conflict in our marriage.
If you're thinking about attending, don't think about it. Just sign up.
I would like to say to anyone that's thinking about attending, it is worth the investment. In my perspective, it was paying for a divorce lawyer or paying for this workshop. And I felt that it was worth every penny to be exposed to this. And I look forward to applying it. Like I said, it did give us hope, and it was tools that I've never been exposed to before. And my upbringing never taught me these things. So I'm looking forward to applying that, and I hope you consider it as well.
If you have any sliver of any desire to hold on to your marriage, even if your marriage is doing good, it's going to give you tools to help you have a stronger marriage by far by the time you get to the other end of this, the end of this workshop. There are so many things that you can learn about each other and the communication styles, the pies, the smart contact, all the different things. You see some of it on the videos, but when you actually see and get to go through the workshops and have the people to talk to and ask questions to and get some solid answers for what you actually are thinking about, it makes all the difference pulling all the pieces together.
I would 100% suggest you to come to Marriage Helper.
And those are people who were in the workshop this past weekend right here in Spring Hill. As a matter of fact, there were 21 couples in that particular workshop. We had 2 workshops going last weekend, but in that one there were 21 couples. And if you want to know more about the workshop, as a matter of fact, you have to apply now to get into the workshop, because you can see that we're dealing with a lot of people here. And you just go to marriagehelper.com/apply. And if you go there, APPLOI, apply, marriagehelper.com/apply, and you can apply to see if you can get a seat in one of our workshops. It doesn't mean that you've enrolled at that point. It just helps us know if you're eligible to make a decision about whether you're eligible to come. And then from there, you can get a phone call with one of our workshop advisors, so you can ask a whole lot of questions to make your decision if you want to come or not. So that's marriagehelper.com/apply. Jessica from Virginia. Jessica, we're running a little bit late because somebody, meaning me, has been talking way too much. So how can we help you? We only have a few minutes left. What can we do for you, Jessica from Virginia?
Hi, Dr. Joe. Happy holidays.
Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving. My husband and I have been together since I was about 20 and he was 22. I just turned 44 yesterday, and he will turn 46 next month. Thank you. He helped raise my son from my previous marriage, he's now 24. So he's been in his life pretty much all of his life, and raised him and whatnot. So we've been best friends ever since we met. About 2 years ago, we bought a house. And it's been a struggle financially with his business and trying to fix the house and things like that. So we were not seeing much of each other. My husband's business, he was just trying to work as much as he could. It caused a huge rift. I kept trying to tell him, I need time with you. And he felt enormous pressure. And I was having, issues with getting a job, getting a good job and helping out. Well, I expressed to him, because I've always been open about my feelings, what's going on, and I probably shouldn't have now in retrospect, that I was really concerned about our marriage, how I was feeling. And for the first time in my life, I saw him break down before my eyes, because he was really struggling, because he's always done his best to try to make me and everybody else in his life happy. But at the time, we were struggling, we were drowning, and he was supporting his family, employing his family, and we...
So, Jessa, how can I help you? What can I do for you?
Yeah, so I talked to him about 6 months ago, just kind of getting a temperature check on where things were, and he was basically like, well, I'm the kind of guy, when I'm done, I'm done. so that kind of shocked me into, oh my gosh, like my marriage is, over. He mentioned that, he thought it was a good idea that we separate. I asked him to stay and work on it. He said he tried. I did all I was working on my pies. I was doing pool behaviors, but I guess there was a little bit of an anxiousness that he could pick up on. And then about a month and a half ago, he decided to move out. And I was able to convince him to move into the converted garage next door for financial reasons.
So
my son moved
what can
over
we
here.
do for you? How can we help you?
Yeah. So my question is, like we're still really close and everything, but it seems to me that he's cool with just having like a friendship type of relationship with me. Like he's told me he loves me, but he's not in love with me. So I'm wondering what it is that I can do.
So you're listening to him and you're understanding what he feels. Is he continuing to be open about his emotions, what he feels?
Yes. I mean, I've never, like I said, he's never cried in his life, and he just started kind of breaking down, like when he was telling stuff. Clearly, it's hurting him.
Well, that's the primary thing, Jessica. Really what the biggest pull on the human beings is when the other person accepts you as you are, accepts what you think, accepts what you feel, accepts what you believe. And so as he talks about those things, when he says something such as, well, I love you, but I'm not in love with you, we hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Don't panic with that. What you would do is say, okay, help me understand what that means. And if it goes on for a while, and if you're really paying attention, which I'm sure you will be, as you listen, he'll open up and say some things. And as he does, ask genuine questions, not manipulative, not leading, not argumentative, but questions like, well, help me understand more about that. Because I guarantee you, anybody, man, woman, child, anybody who can be open and honest about what they think, what they feel, what they believe, and the other person truly accepts them. Now, that doesn't mean that you necessarily agree with what they say. It doesn't necessarily mean that you endorse what they say, but it does mean that you accept that that's true for them. We call acceptance acknowledging reality. And if you get opportunity to listen to him talk, and if you'll let him be that open, that transparent, those kinds of things, then that's what will work. It's a major, major pull. Sorry, we're out of time. I want one more thing back up to the front, and then one big thing we're going to do at the end. I'm seeing over here, somebody said to me, if I need to see his conversation with his coworkers to move forward to forgiving and reconciliation. Let me say again, forgiveness is for your sake. If you wait to get all the information from the other person before you decide to forgive them, then it's going to hurt you. You don't forgive them because they deserve it. You forgive them because you need to be set free. And if it's like, well, I need to see this, I need to know that, etc., you're not going to forgive them. You're going to keep holding on to the pain, keep holding on to the hurt. And you say, well, what about reconciliation? Well, different story at a time. Because right now, what I want you to see is this. Michael's Motivational Minute.
I want to introduce you to Jim. Jim is one of the many house plants that we have around our house that started with a plant that was given to us by a man named Jim. A few years ago, Jim became a widower. And so we invited him over to our house for Thanksgiving for some food, for some fellowship, and of course, here in Texas, some football. And Jim brought along this plant as a thank you for having him over. And what my wife has done is she has taken pieces of the original Jim plant and created new plants. She's given those plants away to some of her friends that are school teachers. And so Jim lives in their classroom. Jim lives in multiple places in our house. And in fact, in this planter is written some different affirmations that my wife's team wrote about her. And they had some other planters where they were able to write affirmations about one another. So as I look at Jim, as I think about the Jim that's around our house, that Jim's out in the world and other places, I can't help but think that the original Jim was a gift given to us by a good man. And so I want to encourage you in the next few days as we enter into Thanksgiving. I want you to give thanks for the people that have come through your life, the people that are currently in your life, and I want you to think about the people that may come into your life in the future. How can you give yourself away in a way that is in a servant heart, in a way that cares for others, in a way that takes the pain and the frustration and the challenges and the obstacles and the things that you faced? How can you give hope to others and then see that hope grow in their lives? We here at Marriage Helper believe that hope begins with taking a stand. Hope begins with understanding your beliefs and your values, who you are, and then making those changes, begin to take those actions towards becoming the person that you want to be. We're here to give you hope. And as you get that hope, as you get that healing, we want to challenge you to give that hope and healing to others. Happy Thanksgiving. It's so great to be with you. We'll see you next week.